Okay, in this exercise, let's make that pocket easier to see. Change the color. Okay, just for kicks, I'll go to this plane. Reverse that direction. Hit OK. Alright, I want to talk about that surface that we created. You'll notice that I never constrain that thing. I'm going to hide the surface though. Actually, you know what? I'm going to leave that visible. Let's see if I can hide the part body. Just want to talk about the surface itself. What's controlling the surface is the spline. Actually, the spline is what probably takes you longer to make than the actual surface. It's just a simple extrude, like a simple pad, except that it's infinitely thin in material. And what we're going to do here is when I go into the sketch, I'll go flat to the screen here for a sec. These black points are called nodes. Okay, if I grab a node, click and hold it, I should be able to drag it. When I exit out, not only does it change the spline, but it will change the surface. But not only does it change the surface, it changes the solid. So the solid now matches that same contour. So whatever you're doing to that surface is going to change your solid. Not only that, if you had a drawing of this and there were dimensions in the radius, it changed those automatically. Not only that, if there were a tool fixture that were made to this, it would automatically change the tool fixture and change the drawing of the tool fixture as well. Not only that, if I were to have machined the top of this part off, okay, so if you run an NC program to machine the surface contour and you had changed it, the tool path would automatically change without having to redo the entire tool path. It just should all be linked to do that. So if I were to grab this sketch, move it up and down, again, all the drawings should change, the tool fixture should change, the NC toolpath will automatically change to follow that surface wherever it goes. Alright, so back to sketch number 1. I'll go flat to the screen. In your last Word doc, I want you to explain what feature did I use to create this, and what are these points called. Okay, now if I double click the spline, the node points show up and give you I don't want to see my coordinates. Well, there's a plus and a minus here, and replace. Plus means if I click a point, it's going to add 0.6 to wherever you have that highlighted. So if I hit, can I undo that? This one's highlighted. If you have the add feature on, it's going to add another point. Okay, so this is point number 1. If I click a point here, that will become point number 2. So it'll jump to this point and then jump back to point 3 and then point 4. So if I click here, it's going to do something really weird, coming back up here and then trying to come back down. Notice that it hits all the points though, and it's building the smoothest possible curve CATIA can create with those points. It's called a comp smooth or fifth degree polynomial arc. Okay, so you're generating the smoothest arc it can create. That's all you really need to know using those points. Now that's kind of crazy wild, so I'm going to click on the minus and click this X, and it removes that point. So that's how you could take a point out. Let's say after point 2 and before point 3 I want another point. I could come in here, click a point. Oh, undo that. Oh shoot, I hit undo. Let's double click that. If I click circle point number 2, I should be able to add a point. I'll go here, and there's point 1, point 2. Now this is the new point 3, which is point 6, and then point 4 is now point 3 is now point 4, and then point 4 is now point 5. So the points here are telling you the sequential order, but I did create point 6 after I'd already generated points 1 through 4. Let's say before point 4, I highlight that. I want to create another point, something like this. Okay, so this is how you can add and subtract points by double clicking that spline. If I have the last point I just created, point number 7, I don't like that point location, I can do a replace and click a point, and it uses that point instead. Okay, or I could just simply hit OK, grab that point and drag it to another location. Will that affect my part? Of course. When I exit out, look at what happened to the contour. Now if this were an NC part, yeah, it will automatically change the toolpath, but I might have done something so crazy the NC toolpath is not going to be able to handle this. Okay, which would be a good thing, because it would tell you, hey, this engineering part you made probably isn't a good part, because we can't even make it in the NC shop, because you did something really weird looking here. Alright, so in the spline feature, back to the sketch, I want you to make a note. How did I get the pop-up window to come up? How did I get this pop-up window to show up? And what is it for? Okay, so you're going to make a snapshot. How do you get the window to come up? What is this window for? Now, the next thing I want to talk about is constraining. It's pretty easy. Just highlight the whole thing. Do auto constrain. When I grab the axis and say, okay, it's just going to automatically dimension everything from the axis, I'll hide the part body. You notice that it's fully constrained. That's all it took to constrain this part. But sometimes there's so many constraint points, it gets kind of crazy trying to figure out what constraint is doing what. So another technique, oh shoot, I'm going to hide the part body again. I hit undo to get rid of those constraints. Another technique to get it fully constrained is you just highlight it and you anchor everything down. So in the dialog box, I just fix every point. Oh, why is that not? Okay, so I've got all of that anchored. Let's see if I can auto constrain the rest, then see if I can lock it down. I know you can't move anything now. I've got it fully constrained. Oh yeah, why wasn't it fully constrained earlier? That should have been fully constrained. If I've locked all the points, you shouldn't be able to move any points at all. Oh, you know why? I think it was the surface. I bet I was seeing the surface thinking that wasn't constrained. I guess I could hit undo. Okay, I'm going to hide that the surface off the tree. Now I'm truly looking at just the spline with all the node points. I'm going to highlight this whole thing, and I'm going to dialog box this, fix everything, and say OK. Dang, why is that not constrained? That is crazy. If I try and grab it won't let me move anything. Oh, now it turned green. Just a simple act of me trying to move something, turned around and said, nope, it's fully constrained, you can't do it. Now the reason why I like this technique is it's not such a mess. But if I wanted to change a point, all I have to do is delete the constraint. Oh, what happened? This is different from version 5. I'm going to try and delete just that one. Interesting, it's deleting them all. Okay. Well, I don't know why it's doing that, but if I double click the point, it does have coordinates, and you could type in specific coordinates if you wanted it to be at a specific location. So I want you to make a note on the two different ways to lock this thing down. Alright, make a picture of it fully constrained, because usually all I have to do then is, after I've moved the change the coordinates to what I want, I just go back and put that one anchor on and I'm good. But for some reason all my anchors are getting deleted, and I don't know why that's the case. So I'm just going to highlight everything, go to the dialog box, fix it. I'm going to try and move something, and then all of a sudden it turns green. Because they're anchored, they won't let you move it. It's fully constrained. Looking in my sketch under constraints, I see everything's anchored. I don't know why. If I can delete one here, they all are going away. So that didn't ever used to happen. You could unfix one point, move the location, and then just re-anchor it and be fully constrained again. Okay, so that's technique number 1. And then I want you to show me how to get the point coordinates to come up. Get a picture so you can show me that you were able to get the point coordinates to come up where you could key in a different coordinate location. You'll notice right now I can't grab any of those points. It won't let me get a point and type in a coordinate because it's under intensified because it's anchored. Alright, but I want to get a picture. You show me you can get this picture to come up so you could change them at will if you wanted to. And then you can also do the other trick. If there's not too many points, it doesn't hurt it. Just go highlight. You just go right to auto constrain. Sorry, right to auto constrain. Oh, dang it. Try it again. Go right. Just go to auto constrain. I'll highlight everything and just say OK. Just like that, everything's done. It's all dimensioned off the axis. Did I have the axis highlighted in there? Auto constrain and enter. It's all constrained. Okay, and that concludes our demos for working with the split surfaces. Actually, pull this out of hide this, ISO this, unhide the part body. This crazy part I just made here. Okay, I want a picture of this part. Showing me how to do it with a split feature. So pad, split feature, and then the pocket. versus no split feature. Okay, consult with your buddies. How did I do that without having that split feature, and do the same thing. Okay, that concludes what we need to do for this particular demo.